So lesson 3. By the end of today, you should feel pretty good about it. Remember the key that we've talked about, really the only difference with inequalities is that when we multiply or divide by a negative, we need to make sure that we flip that inequality symbol around, right? All right, again, if you are here at school, if you can partially close your Chromebooks and then put your phones away for a few minutes, we are going to do our lesson, and then as I've been allowing, I will let you listen to some music shortly. All right, so lesson 3 again. Multi-step inequalities. Here we go. All right, so we're going to solve this inequality. So write that inequality down in your paper. 3 times the quantity of k minus 2 is less than or equal to 2 plus 5k. Again, you'll also see the steps for solving on the left-hand side. Draw a balance line because that's going to remind you whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. You're going to simplify both sides, combine like terms. In this case, we're going to distribute the 3 first. Move all the variables to one side. Do opposite operations to get the plain numbers, all the numbers by themselves, and then plug our answer in. So write this example down on your paper. 3 times the quantity of k minus 2 is less than or equal to 2 plus 5k. Do you need a pencil, buddy? Okay, write the problem down. All right, so like I mentioned, we need to distribute first. And distribute, remember, means whatever number is outside the parentheses is going to be given to everything inside the parentheses. So when we do that, and when we say given, we mean multiplied. So notice we take this 3, grab my pen here, I'm going to take this 3, and I'm going to do 3 times k, and I'm going to do 3 times negative 2. So it turns into 3k minus 6 is less than or equal to 2 plus 5k. Notice I brought the 2 plus 5k down because we didn't do anything with it yet. We didn't have to simplify. There were no terms to combine. There was no distributing that we needed to do. It was just on that left-hand side. From here, we need to get all the variables on one side. This one's a little bit different than what we had last week. We take a look at it and we see that we have a 3k on one side and a 5k on the other. So hopefully you are thinking, oh, let's move that 3k. And since 3k is positive, we are going to, you got it. We're going to subtract that 3k from both sides because what ends up happening, or the reason why we do it, is that makes this turn into a 0 pair. Okay, one common misconception or mistake people make is when they see the subtraction here, some kids will add 3k to both sides, but I just want to remind you that the subtraction belongs to the 6. The subtraction belongs to the 6, not to that 3k. Notice we're showing the subtraction of 3k on both sides. So on the left-hand side, we've got that negative 6. And then on the right-hand side, I brought the 2 straight down. And I know that 5k minus 3k, so 5 minus 3 is just 2. And notice the k stays with it. It's like a label. It's like saying, oh, I have 5 kites, and I gave 3 away. I still have 2 kites left over. What's our next step going to be? Brody? You got it. So we're going to take this 2 and we need to move it to the other side. And as Brody said, because it's positive, we're going to subtract it. So again, that ends up making that 0 pair right here, because as we talked about the rules of solving equations, once you get the variables on one side, then you do the opposite operation, which again, since it's a positive 2, we're going to subtract it. That leaves us with -8 on the left and 2k on the right-hand side. This 6 right here. Got it. So the question is, where did this -6 come from? Yeah, remember we got rid of this 3 outside the parentheses, right? So as Brody said, we had to distribute it, and when we distribute, we multiply. So we did 3 times 2 to make this 6. Yes, correct. Yep, and that's because there's parentheses. If there wasn't any parentheses, the 3 would have just belonged to the k. Right. All right, and I've already given it away. Our next step is to divide. What are we going to divide by? Yes. And again, we want to divide by 2 because we need to get that k to be plain and by itself. And -8 divided by 2 is positive or negative? Try again. Negative. So -4 is less than or equal to k. Now, one thing that you notice is this is the first time now we've seen it where the variable is on the right-hand side for our solution. What I would highly suggest that you do is that if that happens, I would literally take that whole inequality and flip the entire thing over so that the variable is on the left-hand side. Now, why is that? Because this is how we typically read them. K is greater than or equal to -4. We don't usually say -4 is less than or equal to k, right? And if you recall, I told you one way you can remember that you have to shade on the number line is that if the variable is on the left-hand side, when you go to graph it, you're going to end up graphing it to the right. That's why I highly suggest that you put that variable on the left-hand side as you graph it, or as you, when you're finished. Once you've solved those inequalities, then you're going to graph them on the number line. And are you going to use an open circle or a closed dot? Yes, closed, we know that because it has the little equal part, right? Yep. And then again, you're going to shade to the right. So that means any number, including -4, but any number greater than -4 is going to make that inequality work. There you go. So there's your number line as well. So again, that closed dot on the -4, and then we shade to the right-hand side. Put that back up here so you can get everything that you need. When you've got everything that you need, if you are at home, if you could click the raise hand button so I know, and if you're in person, show me thumbs up when you're ready. Marcus and Brody, I got you. Also, while we're waiting to finish, what other questions do we have? Can you explain again why we, or Where did we get, how do we decide? Anything along those lines that we need clarification? Whether you are at home or here in person. Give you a little bit more time to get that finished. And then we'll move on and take a look at what today's assignment is going to be. So while you're getting caught up, remember if we had divided by a -2 here, right? If this had been a -2k and we divided by -2, remember you would have had to flip that inequality symbol, right? So make sure that that's also a part of that. Oh, what did I do? Oh yeah, then I need to flip that symbol. All right, go ahead and unclick your raise hand button. Were you done, Xavier? Yeah. Okay, all right. So this is what you're going to do today is you are going to go to Schoology. It's loading, loading, loading. You're going to go to Schoology. Oops, that should say lesson 3. Open up the lesson 3 folder. And just like we've done the last few times, you're going to do the lesson 3 worksheet. Make sure that you are showing your work and your steps, your thinking, your process. As with everything else, we want to make sure that you are showing all of those steps so that I understand that you understand the steps for solving. And if we're just copying answers and calling that our assignment, it's not helping us understand the process. And next year, you're going to be asked to do that as well. So we want to make sure that we are doing the best that we can for solving the problems. Okay. I have not updated the grades with assignment 2 yet. I believe I got through everybody's assignment 1 last Thursday or Friday. So you'll also want to make sure that you look at your DUR and that you've taken care of both lessons 1 and 2. Once I get everything completely updated, I will definitely send an email just so everybody is aware of that as well. Yeah, buddy. Yes, correct. Yep, and the one that we did last Thursday is lesson 2. Good. Why don't you do that right now since you're thinking about it, okay? Okay. Tenzin, you okay, buddy? Yeah? Okay. You have your Chromebook today? Jesse, you got your Chromebook today? Jesse? You have your Chromebook today? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it out in front of you. My apologies.